Acres Steakhouse.
Hold the Mayo. It's time for Mike Mayo's Lunchbox. Find out what's being served with Mike, Defo and Lubie, the only show that covers food, sports, and the proper maintenance of your car. And now, a man who had the distinction of having an entire health clinic named in his honor, Mike Mayo.
I want the flim flam sauce with the awesome fave, with shafafa on the side.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to Mike Mayo's Lunchbox after a long, relaxing, and utterly joyous holiday weekend. Here we are on a Tuesday. Jeff Defo DeForest, Mike Lubie Lubitz. Gentlemen, I only have 3 words for you. 3 words before we get this party started, which is never in doubt. It was never in doubt.
Maybe for you. I mean, Game 7, that might have been the case, but even that got a little dicey at times. We were talking about it this morning. You don't want to be the punchline when people are discussing moments of infamy in sport. And for the Heat to lose that Game 7 after being up 3-0, that would have made the record 150-1 of teams that have been in the situation up 3-0. And whether or not they have prospered, you don't want to be that one. You don't want to be Jackie Smith. You don't want to be Chris Webber. You don't want to be Buckner. Speaking of Boston, I mean, Willie the Shoemaker standing up before the line in a derby. And so it was nice to see them stave that off because they really did. They had 1 foot in the finals and 1 foot in the grave. And they managed to stay out of the grave, which was good.
A wild, wacky series. But before we get into all the details, first of all, apologies to our audience on the Lunchbox, but you know what? No apologies, because we are going to be continuing to be sports heavy for the next 2 weeks because, drum roll, please. I mean, who would have thought this back in March? What would the odds have been on both the Heat and the Panthers making it to their respective leagues' championship rounds that we're going to have games in June for both teams? And that was after having UM and FAU make it to the Final Four. If on March 1st somebody came to you with that prop bet, $1,000,000-1, I mean, what would that?
Weren't even in the playoff discussion. The Heat, I guess, hovered around the 5 or 6 seed most of the year, and they were the 1 seed last year, and they were in the Eastern Conference Finals last year. So maybe the Heat, the Panthers, it was an utter disaster. Like we were calling him the French Joe Philbin, and no one corrected us. Like they weren't even. Not only they weren't in the playoffs. They weren't even in, they were way out of it, and there were a ton of teams ahead of them. So, no, both these teams getting here, and the Panthers being the stronger favorite of the two, there's no way back in March you would have thought that. No way.
The Defo, what do you think the odds you could have gotten?
You know what? You could have given me those odds a couple of weeks ago, and I would have said, you got to be kidding me.
No, but let's say March 1st, you walked into your favorite sports book in Las Vegas and said,
I would have put
I would like FAU and
Yeah,
UM parlay in the Final Four, and then I would like a Panthers Heat parlay, both of them winning their conference championship.
And then I want to let it all ride to the Dolphins to win the Super Bowl and the Marlins to win the World Series.
Yeah.
And why not? A 4-team championship town. This is title town now. Well, we're hoping to come away with at least one. I mean, what do you think, Mike Mayo? You've been up and down with this thing. You've become more psychotic of a wavering fan than Lubie, based on your various texts of last night. You were thrown in the towel in the game, even though the Heat were in command.
I'm the world's worst fan. I start.
You really are
negative.
Bad.
Yeah. Okay, so before the game,
did you write your leads before the game was over?
Yes,
and then have to change
sometimes
the whole article.
I have 2 different leads depending on how late the deadline.
What a disaster it was for the Panthers last night. You were covering this team, and then all of a sudden they would win like 3-2, and you'd have to change it. I've done that, believe me.
Meanwhile, I think I've seen several Panthers on St. Bart's or some of these islands. I mean, they had so much darn time in between these 2 rounds. It's that's a little frightening. But no, but to answer your question, look. Everything is crazy and anything is possible. I've already lived through a world where who would have thought that we would have been like shut in our homes for a full year and then wearing masks for a year, and that Donald Trump at one point was president and may still well be president again. I mean, anything is possible. So why not go for 2? Let's have both teams win the titles and bring it on home. That's the fan.
Would be nice. That's for sure. I mean, either one wins a championship. I guess if I had to, since the Heat have won titles, I'd love to see a Stanley Cup in South Florida. It seemed like a very far-fetched concept not that long ago. We even as recently as down 3-1 to the Bruins. So
we know one
good
thing,
time
right?
to be had by all for sure.
We know one thing is that Lord Stanley's Cup will be hoisted by a team that has never hoisted it before. Is that correct? Vegas
Yes.
has not won. Vegas has made it to the
They
finals.
went to the finals their first year, and then,
the Panthers made it to the finals, never won a game in that Cinderella run of '96, which I was there. I was at all those games, all four
those
of
were
those
great.
games.
That was a good time.
And that it was a shame that they got swept, that they couldn't even manage to eke out one, that Uwe Krupp goal in overtime, beating the Beezer. And but here we are. They are poised and possibly favored. They should be favored because look, as much as energy and enthusiasm that Vegas and their Golden Knights bring to the table, this Panther team just has the look of a team of destiny, and everything that they've done so far are defying expectations. The only question is, has Sergei Bobrovsky lost his vision in this 2-week gap? And is he going to be able to
eating
stay
carrots
hot?
like you are. Yeah.
Oh, and speaking
You
of
know,
that,
it's good though. I mean, it's good for they say the local economy. I mean, it was nice to see. I don't know where all these people came from that were pouring into the streets all over town. As they were all banging pots and pans in Hialeah and in Wynwood. I think even in Boca Raton they were throwing Gucci bags all over the street. And but it's good. I mean, this is a 2-week preservation at a time where a lot of people are cleared out of town. It's slowing a lot of bars. People are getting calls. 6 o'clock for an 8 o'clock shift. You don't need to come in tonight. So this should be good. I mean, it's healthy for the people in the environment as well. What are you holding up there? What do you
hold
got?
on. Let me just finish your thought, because it is good for the industry. And Pat Utter, shenanigans, he's ecstatic, not just because as a sports bar owner, this means, like you said, during what used to be a relatively dry period, that he's going to have a lot of business these next 2 weeks.
It's hard to have that Marlins watch party as well as they're playing.
But with the game staggered now, which is a little bit better, that I don't think any of them fall on top of each other. They sorted out the schedule so everybody gets their own night. And we'll go into shenanigans next week and talk to Superfan Pat. He also said never in doubt. He really called it, even after that crushing Game 6 loss with 0.1 seconds left. He said they're going to come back. He thought Jimmy Buckets was going to have like a 45-point game. That did not materialize, but the fact that you have these, I mean, God, Caleb Martin and Duncan Robinson. I mean, Duncan Robinson won a Division III championship. He was an EAF man. Do you know what an EAF man is? Defo?
An EAF man. Who did he play for? I forgot.
Williams College in tiny Williamstown, Massachusetts, in the Berkshires, was a bitter rival of my Tufts Jumbos, was the Williams EAF men. Ephraim Williams was the name of the founder of Williams College, and they couldn't even come up with a name of a team so usually lousy and buried.
The F-men is actually what they're known as.
EPH. Ephraim Williams was the name of the founder, spelled EPHRAIM. And they just said, we can't even come up with purple people eaters or something like that, because their school colors were purple and yellow, like the Vikings. But anyway, Duncan Robinson played in a Division III school. That's non-scholarships, folks. That means he got no recruiting for a scholarship as an athlete out of high school, wins a Division III title, transfers to Michigan, goes undrafted, gets a $90 million contract, and justifies the $90 million contract last night. This is complete insanity. I will toast the Heat and the Panthers with my keto-friendly cucumber filled with Delaware Chicken Farm and Seafood Market fish dip. How about that?
Disgusting what you're doing on the air, but nonetheless, a great story. I think even more significant is that the guy was resurrected from the grave. He was finished. He was out of the rotation. He was the scourge of a lot of the Heat fans, saying, "Hey, they gave this guy a pile of money, and he doesn't even play." Supposedly, he was such a defensive liability that he couldn't make up for it with his 3-point shooting. And then he gets in there against the Boston Celtics, makes a ton of key 3-point shots. He did miss those two wide open in Game 6, which could have iced the game for the Heat. But in general, was a huge factor. Certainly was last night, and even made plays at the defensive end. Even was going to the basket all of a sudden. I mean, this guy was, as quick to the hoop as Kyrie Irving. It was amazing.
You see that? He was the one mocking the TD Garden crowd, the guy who came out of Williams College in Western Massachusetts, giving them who's cheering now after he drained one of those threes and gave him a 20-point lead with 3 minutes left. Utterly I'm in disbelief. The whole world is upside down.
I don't have the
Crazy.
bias against Boston that some people do here in town. I guess it's the curse of having to watch Tom Brady stomp all over the Dolphins for all those years and win all those titles. But and the Celtics were a dominant team during a period of time. I don't know that people have any kind of general feeling about the Boston Bruins, except it was nice to take them down. But I mean, when you looked at that crowd last night, it was fantastic. I mean, I made this observation years ago when I was doing a couple of shows in Boston that pretty much every guy there looks like either Whitey Bulger or Mickey Ward, the fighter. And you're looking at those faces, and they were pretty long faces, really, really drawn out. And then Pat Riley gets up with about 4 minutes to go, as if he was a human victory cigar, as if he was Hank Finkel, and he adjusts his tie and he goes down to the court. And I think, had he been given the opportunity, and you took this a step further, but I think as he was rolling out of town, he might have been tempted to spit on Red Auerbach's grave. No, and just say, listen, Celtics, that's it. I'm abstaining from the usual class and dignity I show.
Pat has respect for the league and its history, and I'm sure he has nothing but respect for Red Auerbach. Now, if it was the Lakers, well, actually,
if it was Danny Ainge, if he was still there, forget about it.
Danny Ainge or Larry Bird, he'd light it on fire and wouldn't even reach for a fire extinguisher. But because that's going back to those classic Lakers Showtime brawls with the Larry Bird stuff. Those were great days too. But the bottom line is this. You know how here in South Florida we said that the Dolphins lost their mojo, their magic, once they left the Orange Bowl and they went into the Joe Robbie Stadium, and that nothing ever seemed to go their way. Nothing was the same. I think the fans of Boston maybe are saying the same thing now with the whole, TD Garden, or maybe that's shot to hell because the Bostons have won a couple of titles since then. But this spring, I mean, to lose Game 7s to number 8 seed huge underdogs, both the Bruins and now the Celtics, that somebody better think of like performing an exorcism or burning the whole place down and starting over again. I don't know. What do you think?
That was great. I mean, the good thing is for our teams, whether or not, it's funny. There's no need to really be disparaging about Boston at this point. I guess it was nice to stick it to them. But
I'm loving it.
Look, you're at a platform now, a springboard, where you have a chance to win a championship. Both fronts, 2 Cinderella stories, just unbelievable. 2 8th seeds from the same city. In the finals of their respective sports at the same time, has to be absolutely unprecedented. And, they're both in there with a shot, so it's good.
Look, it's good because, hey, Boston has had a lot of titles through the years, so it's like they've had enough to keep them satisfied for a while. And, let's face it, when it comes to, hockey, we've had 0 cups, so this is exciting. And a lot of people, this team, they don't get respected. Nobody gave him a shot for the whole series before the series, and I don't think anybody gave him a shot before Game 7 except Pat Utter at Shenanigans. He was a believer. I said all in only because of my theory of when everybody in the world is picking one way, go the other.
That's an old Tom Jicha theory. The contrarian.
And it worked again. I don't think anybody would have had the Heat winning by, double digits or being up by 20 at one point. That was craziness. But the Heat, let's salute them because under the radar, since the year 2000, the top 2 teams in the NBA in terms of appearing in the NBA Finals. Can you guess number 1 and 2?
Made 7 appearances now in the finals.
That's 7, and the only one that's had more is Pat Riley's old team, the Lakers, had 8, and that's with Kobe Bryant and Shaq and all that stuff. So
we're doing it with guys that too. I mean, this is real Cinderella Man type of stuff. It's like James J. Braddock has a jump shot all of a sudden, and they're just mowing teams down. So it's really been terrific. And now, does it spark a bigger appetite? Because I understand both of you guys were eating like you were going to the chair yesterday. And I'm curious about that. And then there was that Sunday festival at Temple Street Eatery.
I mean, there's a lot of food talk. It's not all sports talk today, and actually, we got to do some contest talk. Let's do that first before we get into the big Tom T feast yesterday and the great Temple Street Eatery brunch on Sunday. That was in celebration of the Asian American Pacific Islander Heritage Month.
And you got Nikki Mohan out there too, right?
Nikki was out there along with her beau. Demetrius was out there. Also, Phil Marrow from the Visit Lauderdale Food and Wine Festival.
A lot of people,
and. Oh, it was good. It was a nice packed house, about 50 people in attendance. They set up nice tables, and that was all beautiful. But before I get into the details on that and yesterday's feast, I do have to salute, and I'm going to do it now instead of with the fish dip one, stuffed cucumber. I've got little cucumber slices and Caesar dressing, the Marie Caesar dressing. Again, keto friendly because I'm all
can
about
I just
keto.
issue a disclaimer for the poor people that are subjected to this? This is all Mike Mayo's idea of entertainment. Him slobbering down food from his house.
Whoever said it was entertainment? It's
supposed
just
to
my
be.
reality.
I mean, and the guy was right that slammed you on Let's Eat South Florida.
Oh yeah,
I applauded that man. I hit like 100 times. I put smiles. I put all kinds of stuff.
What was his
laughing.
comment
His
again?
comment was enough about your stupid keto diet. I thought this was, a forum about restaurants and food, and not so self-indulgent about some stupid diet that you're on. It'll be another one in a couple of weeks. And people just don't want to hear about it. I don't believe they do. And then, showing you how people just suck up to the boss because you're the one that's approving, whether or not they even get through. I mean, all of a sudden, 100 people, oh, Michael, we love your adventures with keto. Nobody gives a flying one, my friend. I mean, you have to come
I
to this
am the
realization.
gatekeeper.
Yeah.
The smart ones realize that.
But it's disgusting.
Look, the name of the group, and thank you and hello to all 106,000 of you out there, is Let's Eat, South Florida. It means incorporates every aspect of
but
eating,
not every
including
day. The
those
same
who
thing. Here's
follow
my
funny
celery stick
diets.
with clam juice or whatever. I mean, it's crazy.
If there's a vegan out there that wants to just extol the virtues of veganism but put nothing but alfalfa sprouts and fake meat up there every day, I will approve it because it relates to eating.
Total weight loss last week while you were doing this. Would that be Blutarsky? with several exercise sessions also involved there. You were walking like it was, where you were Henry David Thoreau walking through some utopian environment.
Now that I've tried to cut out the sweets and the starches, I need to do a better job of portion control and overall calories. Yes, to answer your question, last week was what we call a flat week, where it was a 0.0 loss. But I think I have fat.
Several racks of ribs at one sitting, followed by more food. I don't care whether it's carbohydrate laced or not.
I think it's ridiculous.
Michael, come on, do the math.
Thought.
I mean, we have to cut you off. We have to because your explanations are lame.
There was no weight loss, but several people have remarked that I look trimmer and fitter. So I think,
good. Okay.
I think fat is turning into muscle, and any personal trainer can tell you that muscle weighs more than fat.
All right.
So when you do the conversion, you're not going to necessarily lose the weight.
I tell myself that all the time, and then I look at my cellulite laced rear end in the mirror and say, "No, that's not muscle. That's fat."
Joanne's back. Hello, Joanne.
We love Joanne. She doesn't want to hear about the heat advance.
She says that's the nub of the issue, the portion control.
Yeah.
All
right, I'm just speaking for the people here. I'm an ombudsman for the people.
Okay. Yeah. And then you've got me off track because I meant to congratulate our
winner.
One and only contest winner last week. We don't have any hats or slips of paper.
What was the restaurant with the pilgrims, man?
Gibby's.
Oh, Gibby's. Yeah, that's right.
Steaks and seafood. It rhymes with giddy, which is the clue that Joe B ended up giving out. So it's funny because a couple of people spell check glitched on them. So instead of writing Gibby's or Giddies, I think they wrote Gizzies or something like that. I don't know.
You credited them with being correct?
Well, none of them had the right horse anyway, so I didn't have to go to the tiebreaker. But one person had Gibby's as the restaurant answer, and that same only one person had the winning horse, a 10-1 shot. There have been some tough long shots, 10-1 shots the past few weeks in the contest races here at Gulfstream. The feature race on Saturday, the 10th race, was a handicap, and it was won by the number 2 horse, Eamon. E-A-M-O-N-N, Eamon or Eamon. I pronounce Eamon.
Eamon Coughlin, famous, one of the great milers of all time. Eamon Coughlin from Ireland. The chairman of the boards was his nickname. He always won. I covered a lot of indoor track, and Coughlin was big at the time. John Walker was running from New Zealand. I had Steve Scott from America here, was actually living in the town where I was working at the Ontario Daily Distort. So we covered a lot of his action, and Eamon Coughlin was dominant as an indoor miler. Eamon. I had that horse, by the way, and he was 9-1. It was a very nice payoff.
Trained by our friend Joe Orsano, who also trains the horses owned by Joey Esposito of Cafe Seville. And nice score for Eamon. And
nice run too. Mowed him down from behind. It was great.
Yeah, way behind. Our one and only winner. Congratulations to Melissa Randazzo.
Wow,
Melissa Randazzo.
Is she of Randazzo's restaurant or whatever that is?
I don't know if she's related to the Randazzos either here in Key Biscayne or the one in Brooklyn, which is a famous clam bar that's not related to the one in Key Biscayne. But Anybody named Randazzo can be a friend of mine. Cook up a nice pot of pasta and meatballs. One of these days, I'll eat the pasta again. But Melissa, job well done.
Andy
I've
Beyer
already
couldn't have hit
notified.
the contest, I don't think. That was
but
not easy. A 10-1 shot in a difficult
they were
restaurant
the
that had already closed. Wow.
30 something entries. I think we had 34
Wow.
entries. And again, one and only winner with no tiebreaker required. She's already messaged back that she is going to be going to the Sunday brunch buffet the same day that our friend Bonnie is going to be going on June 11th. So maybe I'll pop.
This
out
show is
there
about
and
making friends, Mike Mayo.
Yeah, it really is.
Even though we trash you for your ridiculousness, but it's really about making friends. Look at that. We're uniting the Let's Eat South Florida community right here at the 10 Palms buffet. Which, by the way, I mean that meal we had there was fantastic Friday. Really, really.
Oh
good.
yeah, it was nice being inside, and I guess that's
the new MO.
Our new
we're gonna be
summer locale. Joe B, very nice, took care of us with some great craft cocktails. I had that. What was it?
You had some blackberry thing.
Blackberry bramble.
It was strong.
Woo!
It was strong.
That thing knocked my socks off. I was in a great mood the rest of the day. Took a little nap and then played some poker at night. But yeah, that was good. And speaking about knocking my socks off, how about Tom T and his Louisiana Kitchen now popping up on a regular basis this is a place I love too. And I'd never been in there. And I'm a man who loves my dive bars. And I love a dive bar that actually puts dive bar in their name. Anchors Away Dive Bar in Deerfield Beach. It's literally like right across from City Hall. If people on the Let's Eat group always talk about the Pickle Barrel, that's around the corner on Hillsborough. But if you go north one block, it's a great little dive bar. I don't need to be, I guess, touted on the virtues of a place where they're not charging $20 to $25 for a cocktail, and that when you could basically get very friendly service from a completely new bartender whose name was Riley, and that was a good omen yesterday, Lubie, right? Having a bartender named after the Heat president and savior, Pat Riley. But Riley was new on the job. I instructed her how to make a Bloody Mary, and she had the nice mix, but I told her the extra squirts and little dashes of Tabasco, and she made a perfect Bloody Mary, and that was definitely a sign of great things to come. And Tom T, the last crawfish boil of the season, because crawfish, seasonal delicacy from the bayous of Louisiana, the mud bugs.
I've never seen crawfish that big though, even being in New Orleans. Many times. I'm not a crawfish guy. Mustang would order it, but I have never seen them that large.
Yeah, they were.
Where is Tom T's guy fishing that nobody else is? It's incredible.
Probably near a nuclear reactor. Or
it's got to be something. They're on juice. Those were lobsters. They really were.
Yeah. Or is there any former major leaguer that?
Are we going to see Tom T on like 60 Minutes? Under an investigation. Where does he find crawfish that big? It's incredible.
Oh, it was great.
And now, how did you do with that? Did you get some? Did Lubie get involved with that?
Yeah, so what I did is I ordered some to eat there, and Lubie and Shirley for the first time were, indulging. I showed, and Tom T showed.
I heard Sarnie even showed up.
Yeah. Oh, so Sarnie was there. Bonnie was there, and we all were just got a big 5-pound bag, and we just kind of were picking them like potato chips and cracking them and sucking at them.
How many do you need? Like, what's an individual order? Like a pound or more?
So yeah, for basically when you want to have like other dishes, which we had basically the whole menu, but you get like a pound each. There were 4 of us. We each had like a pound. There was like another pound left over that I brought home, along with another 5-pound sack that I brought back to my daughter and Michelle because they love the stuff. So before Game 7, they were feasting.
What holiday are you trying to get the invite to that you did that?
All of them now, because she just got a whole. She got a whole new kitchen set from Brandsmart as part of their like Memorial Day sale. Nice. So she got a new double door oven where each chamber is separate, so she can cook different dishes at different temperatures. She's been just lusting after a double door oven for years.
Is that Ron Popeil thing?
Thanks. I don't know what it is, but she got a stainless steel refrigerator, one of those fancy schmancy ones that can tell you the temperature of the water as it comes out. You could set the temperature of the water, the shape of the ice cubes. She also got a new dishwasher and a new like big heavy duty microwave oven. So her new kitchen is loaded for bear. She can't wait to cook for.
When's the child support check due? The first?
Oh, I get it to her 3 days early every time now.
Yeah,
Just
nice. So I was thinking she's refurnishing the house. So usually they just go on like a European vacation right before that happens.
But getting back to Tom T, you give your description there, Lubie, because we had a lot of different dishes. And what was the highlights for you?
Well, first of all, the fried ribs, I'm still amazed at, because I just love regular standard ribs. But what's cool is my wife isn't a big messy eater fan. So the fried rib was like a good combo, because you could have the rib and it's dry. So it's actually a lot easier to eat without getting dirty. And the flavor was tremendous. The po' boys, I never had his po' boy. I had a lot of his food. I never had a po' boy. The po' boy was great. Like, and he puts.
What kind did you have?
I just oyster. I don't know if he does it normally or he just did it for me. Shirley seemed to believe that he was doing it just for me, which I appreciate. But I like the combo: a little bit of shrimp, a little bit of oyster, and that was great. The boudin balls, which he doesn't always do, are amazing. They're really good, and they came out steaming hot. Oysters are good as always. And the crawfish was great, because looking at it, I'm like, I've always heard there's not a lot of meat in it. So maybe I'm spoiled because of Tom T's, because there was plenty of meat. Like, I got full, like just eating crawfish, which usually I think is just like an appetizer. Like, there was a lot of meat in those, and the flavor was spectacular. Like, whatever they do, that's what's great about Tom T. Like, a lot of the time you'll add hot sauce or you'll add salt and pepper. You don't have to do anything. Like, you get the food, it's there for you to eat it and do nothing but enjoy it.
He has flavor without the spice. You know, he doesn't hit you overwhelmingly with spice, but you have flavor. And, you know, that's why the man is talented. And again, check out his Facebook page at Tom's Louisiana Kitchen. And also it'll give you his schedule, because now he's hopping back and forth. And sometimes he splits himself in two, and he's both places, two places at once. The Nobo Brewing up in Boynton Beach, which was his original location, and now spending a lot more time at that Anchors Away dive bar.
Like, he got a great crowd. Like, those people seem to really love his food, and I appreciate it.
Oh, and I forgot. Yeah, I met one of the Let's Eat regulars who came on out because she saw, and two of her friends came up from Miami because they'd never had crawfish before and made new friends. They ran out of oysters. There was a little bit of a mix-up. She wanted to get a dozen of those grilled oysters, which Tom, of course, does in a unique style in those little foil tins. So he gets them out of the shell, and it's all plump and no shell, and all the juices stay there. And basically, Kira, it was great to meet you. But when she kind of was lamenting that there were no more oysters left, she came up to the bar to get a drink. And we happened to have all these leftover extra oysters because we just couldn't eat everything. I said, here, take mine. And Lubie offered his. She ended up getting like a half dozen oysters that Tom reheated. And then again,
that's cool.
Oh, yeah. And then they brought them out there, and her friends were just slurping on them at the picnic tables. I mean, it's really good. You're right, Defo. I'd like to buy the world of Coke. I want everybody to be friends. I think we really do.
You've changed. Yeah. You've changed from that bitter, sarcastic, negative, the world's coming to an end guy to maybe this keto thing, sparks the brain a little.
Look at me.
Yeah.
Doesn't this look like the face is a little bit.
You do look a little better. Yeah, I got to say. I mean, you look a little livelier than you usually do when you're at the home studio there. Right? Sometimes you're really like kind of verklempt, and especially after a Dick Steen conversation, you come on the show and say, it stinks, everything sucks. But no, today you're good. I'm very happy with the new Mayo.
Oh, it's you know what? Things are coming together. I have a really great feeling. June has always been my favorite month of the year because it's my birthday and it's Father's Day. You group together. It is going to be summertime.
What's the number this year?
Heinz? Out of school. Yeah, I'm 57.
Okay,
yeah, right. Heinz. It's a Heinz birthday, and I'm just in a good mood because, heck, to start a birthday month with two teams in championship. I mean, this is it's awakened the inner optimist and sports fan in me. I love everybody, even though I think the Heat might get swept. I'm going to go two ways on this series, like for betting purposes, because I want to
bet both teams. I like that.
No, I'm going to bet the Nuggets to win in a sweep. I probably could get 10 to 12 or 12 to 1 on that. Yeah. And then the Heat on the money line to win the series at 3 to 1. So either way, I'll win, except if one of those teams wins in
Suggestion: don't get cute. I mean, you sound like Hank Goldberg trying to explain how he middled the game between the Jets and the Dolphins, and even though he buried you on TV, he had to win or something.
Look, all I know is that people who have been betting on the Heat and the Panthers this
Oh,
playoff run
they're cleaning
Killing
up,
them.
man.
they're buying private
Sheldon
islands now.
G, I think, is cashing right and left. I mean, this guy, he should be able to get us tickets if we can get out to Las Vegas for what would it be? Maybe Game 5 of the Panther
Game
Vegas
1,
night series.
Saturday night in Vegas. Let's go next weekend.
Be nice,
Game
yeah. I mean, all
1.
we need is a sponsor.
Saturday.
Maybe one of our fine sponsors will ante up the money for us all to go out there, and we'll do several lunch boxes from the Mon Ami Gabi right there on the strip.
Yeah, we got lots of. Don't you have any credit card or
I can get us some rooms out there for sure.
Yeah. All right. Well, maybe we'll see what we can do, but it's going to be exciting. I mean, hockey is such a crapshoot because it comes down to so many tricky bounces and fluky things. Basketball, I'm afraid to say, it's usually whoever has the best talent. And I thought, like, Lubie was correct. I didn't think that Heat were that much outmatched in the talent department against the Celtics. And boy, are they a weird team just in terms of the Celtics I'm talking about. Actually, the Heat, too. Inconsistency. I mean, to be able to, like, hit everything one night and then not hit the side of a barn the next night. What did they shoot yesterday? 20%? It was, like, ridiculously bad.
Horrendous, yeah.
And,
and they started out, I think, 0 for 12 from three-point range. And, I mean, if you're playing basketball and you were a chucker from outside, which I was, you should never take a shot that you don't believe is going to go in. And you certainly can't just casually lob the ball up there. And you could see, I mean, a completely different, execution and concentration level on the Heat shooters versus what the Celtics were doing, which seemed like they were praying that the ball would go in after a while.
And they were just chucking at bad threes.
Yeah. They didn't want to do any work. They didn't want to work inside or do anything. Sure.
Nothing.
Anyway.
All right. Can you tell us about one of our great places? I mean, while you have a mouthful of food there, whatever that is. I mean, is it really worth it to be eating this Trek that you're eating on the air? Mike Mayo?
It's delicious. I love cucumbers. I love the fish dip.
Cucumbers. Okay, the fish dip is one thing. Put it on a cracker.
Yeah,
man. Let's get serious.
It's great. It's great on a cucumber. I mean, and we were
out
there last week.
Dips. I'm not against that. It's when we go to these places and the first thing you say to them,
"Hey, I'm on a keto diet."
Don't need it. Is when you're like,
yeah, but you know what
don't
happens.
feed those guys anything good because I don't want to be tempted.
Tom T did it yesterday where I came in. He knows
he
I'm
had
doing
to laugh
the
in your
keto thing.
face.
He brought me a couple of slices of roast beef without the bun. It was delicious.
Christ.
He brought me the debris gravy, which is just like the pan drippings.
You reduced this man
onions.
to having to do that.
Keto friendly, brings me some of the oysters, those fried ribs, which were delicious. And the way he explained the technique, and that was keto friendly because it was a dry rub that didn't even have any kind of
Please
sugars
go back and reread that thread.
Rub.
And
no,
I'm going to quote that guy to you every day.
Let me get to the place I'm going, which is by the end of the meal, he's bringing out the bread pudding and like red beans and rice.
Yes.
And I'm like, oh, I have to have
there you go. Jambalaya.
Same thing at the brunch the other day is like I start off with just eating a little bit of the raw salmon, that Hawaiian salmon dish that was delicious and marinated, and then by the end, and he brings out the empanadas that we had the other day where I'm just
the guava and cheese was outrageous, man.
I'm digging out that nice sweet and sour chicken that's in the inside without eating the fried shell. But by the end of the meal, like some of the other participants, there's a guy one of the restaurants was Yip that has these different locations and they specialize in dim sum, and there's all these dumplings coming out. It's like I'm not going to start peeling open the dumpling shell just to eat the shrimp interior. I was downing the whole thing.
This is Smokey Robinson time. Tears for a clown. That you're expecting.
It's called
on this.
Cheat days. You can allow yourself some
just lose some weight. That's all people are asking. I mean, we don't care about the Odyssey. How you get there doesn't matter. If you show up a month from now and nobody recognizes you, that'll be great.
Well, the thing is, when you have these, diets, you got to allow yourself some cheat days. And when you fall off the wagon, you just get right back on, which is what I'm doing today.
You don't have to scream it to the world. That's all Lubie's saying. And I would agree with Lubie on this one that, okay, just keep it to yourself. Show us the weight loss. And it's great that you're not eating bread. That's fine. I mean, I hope it works. I really do. I'm rooting for you. We want you to stay in shape there, Mike Mayo.
My entire essence and being revolves around sharing.
It revolves around food, unfortunately. Yeah. Right. Which, if you didn't think about it as much, you wouldn't have to be on this stupid keto diet, and we wouldn't have to hear about it. If you just ate like a normal human being, if you didn't eat 10 meals a day with Dickstein. You wouldn't be in this spot.
Impulse control issue.
Well, I think that's
And my therapist retired a while back, and it's just been all downhill since there. I have no impulse
You're a good
control.
guy. People are
I
rooting
have-
for you. They just don't want to hear about this
Right.
keto diet anymore.
Oh man! Now even Joanna's saying Ozempic. Wasn't she the one last week saying don't go on that?
Yeah.
That's that's for last week.
I mean, you could start snorting massive amounts of cocaine and you probably curb your appetite a little bit, but it wouldn't
I don't think that
necessarily
my cardiologist
be good for you. I mean, holy Andy Gibb, what are we talking about
We're
here?
not.
Just do what you're
No, we're not doing that. And Ozempic now, Dickstein has become the biggest proponent. He's been
Never a good
using it,
idea.
and
Did you ever hear the disclaimer on that ad?
well, it might cause like
Never mind oily
constant
discharge.
diarrhea.
I mean, I thought I heard the word kind of mumbled by the guy who reads the disclaimer very fast. Might be fatal. And you're like, wow,
All right.
fatal. Okay. I
Yeah,
think I'll
so
try
is
it.
driving on 95. So is taking a walk down the Broadwalk these
You
days.
sound like
Although
Kyle
that was
Shanahan
horrible.
at a press conference.
All right. How do I go from there back to
Tropical Acres. I mean,
Tropical Acres?
Tuesday.
Well, it's Monday, and
It's Tuesday.
You know
It's
what was
Tuesday.
a big
It's Tuesday.
high on my list now that I am going to check off the list tonight on a Tuesday, going to Tropical Acres. Not that it's comports with any of my diets or anything, but that twin lobster special.
Ooh,
Oh boy,
it's like you had that yesterday with the crawfish, but these
know,
are even
but now I'm
bigger.
gonna
These
go
are whoppers, man.
Yeah, and again, it's back. Twin Lobster special season at Tropical Acres. You get 2 of those beautiful, live, freshly steamed Maine lobsters, a pound and a quarter each. And you get 2 of them with a salad and a side dish. And make my side the cream spinach. Thank you very much. You can get the baked potato fully loaded.
It goes with the lobsters. Baked potato and butter,
everything
man.
goes. So
Maybe
does
skip
sauteed,
the sour cream. Yeah.
spinach. Cream spinach goes with it too. But the whole deal, package deal, $39. You can't beat that, especially on Tuesdays, a half price wine night.
Ooh.
Wine, not so keto friendly, but you know what? 1 glass with dinner, and then I'll bring the rest home or share it.
We
with
don't care about you.
companions.
We're buying 2 bottles of wine because it's half price.
Oh yeah, why not? They got some really good selections in there. The Studio Alley family, they are all about delivering positive experiences at great value with really hospitable service. They've been doing it for decades. The place has been open since 1949. I love Tropical Acres. So does everybody on the Let's Eat group who knows anything about food and restaurants. And I saw a nice another very positive post about somebody who was having the twin lobster specials, and people were oohing and eyeing and saying that's a great deal for $39. And you can go in there, and also don't forget the happy hour in the bar from 4:30 to 6:30. Don't forget about the loyalty reward card. For every 12 entrees that you buy, you get the 13th one on the house. So many great things going on at Tropical Acres. Again, open every day but Sunday. They will be open Father's Day for one of the rare Sundays later this month, June 18th. It's going to be from 3 to 8 o'clock for Father's Day. So get in the books there now. If you want to treat dad to a steak, go give him a call at 954 989-2500 Tropical Acres, 2500 Griffin Road, just west of I-95 in the airport. Tell them that the Lunchbox sent
Hope
you.
a lot of people, too, took advantage of the butcher shop there for their barbecues on Memorial Day and the Memorial Day weekend, because that's a great deal as well. All right, more to come. Mike Mayo moans about not being able to eat bread in a moment here on Mike Mayo's Lunchbox.
I never said anything. I'm happy.
You're crying.
I'm happy, Mike.
You're crying.
I'm
This
the
is your
world
outward
sunshine.
call for help. It really is that you keep, insisting on talking about this. All right, back with more in a moment on the Lunchbox.
Beach Cafe. It's a South Florida landmark, and it's one happy restaurant right on the water. Tables literally on the beach. A place where you could dip your toes in the sand, kick back, relax with island vibes, tropical drinks, and live music daily. You know it. It's at One Commercial Boulevard in Lauderdale by the Sea. And of course, it has Chef Chris Nealon and his famed Caribbean Floridian cuisine. With a huge menu with something for everyone. Seafood, raw bar, conch fritters, burgers, sandwiches, salads, deli specials, and of course, that famous Bimini bread. They've got a great staff that'll take great care of you. There's something to celebrate every day. Open 7 days until late. Parking available on site. Happy hour weekdays 4 to 7 p.m. Go check out more at ArubaBeachCafe.com. Better yet, go in there yourself at Aruba Beach Cafe. Good food, drinks, friends, and laughter are always the catch of the day. When people come to me and say, Mike, where should I go out to eat? I got guests coming from out of town. Where should we go? Cafe Seville. That's the answer. 2768 East Oakland Park Boulevard. It's a Fort Lauderdale perennial, serving the finest in Spanish and continental cuisine in a cozy, friendly, comfortable setting. Joey Esposito and Sally, his better half, they've been running the place for a long time. It's been open since the 1980s. They got great Spanish classics like paella, shrimp with garlic sauce, and all kinds of great seafood dishes. The stuffed veal chop, oh, that's my favorite. Go to Cafe Seville. It's open every day but Sunday at 5 p.m. for dinner. Tell them that the Lunchbox Mayo and Defo sent you. Do you like burgers? Do you like wings? Do you like late night food and sports on big screen TVs and cold beer and friendly vibe and great people? Then you want to check out Shenanigans, 1300 South Federal Highway in Dania Beach. Go to Shenanigans, you get yourself all the good stuff, the fresh fish every day, the black and grilled wings, and of course, the kitchens are open late. Go there, tell them that the Lunchbox Mayo and Defo sent you. Back or not? Mayo here for Delaware Chicken Farm and Seafood Market. Since 1951, family owned for over 70 years, the home of freshness. I've been a customer for over 3 decades, and it's the place to go for poultry, steaks, meats, and of course, their unbelievable selection of fish and seafood. They've got it all. Key West pink shrimp, grouper, snapper, lobster, and of course, Florida stone crab claws of all sizes. Don't forget their famous fish dip and a full selection of prepared foods. It's located at 4191 North State Road 7 in Hollywood, just across from the Seminole Classic Casino. Owner Doug Carter and crew will take great care of you. Make sure to check out their weekly specials and daily catch online at DelawareChicken.com. Quality, value, freshness, that's the Delaware way. Tell them Mike Mayo and the Lunchbox sent you. Do you like pizza? Who doesn't like pizza? Well, my spot for pizza is the Pizza Spot. It's in that little bit hard to find Riverside Park neighborhood of Fort Lauderdale, but it's totally easy to love. It's at 601 Southwest 12th Avenue, New Haven style, a pizza from Wade and Reese. It's a lovely outdoor spot. You could also pick up pies to go at 754-779-7788, 754-779-7788. Again, they're open every day but Monday for lunch and dinner. Some of the best pizza I've ever had. Go to Pizza Spot. They also have subs, salads, and more. Tell them the Gambling Gourmet sent you. If you like seafood in a comfortable setting, outdoors, even keel fish shack at the corner of A1A and Commercial Boulevard in Lauderdale by the Sea, that's my spot. It's upscale food in a down-home setting. The chef owners, Dave and Brad, do a terrific job with all the seafood classics that you want. They have the best grilled oysters in town, bang bang shrimp, lobster rolls, and deli fish specials. They also have weekend brunch Saturday and Sunday. They have deli happy hour 4 to 7, and they also have other weekly specials like mussels on Monday and oysters on Tuesday. Go to Even Keel Fish Shack and tell them that the Lunchbox sent you. We're back on the Lunchbox. It's Tuesday. These short holiday weeks always mess me up. A couple of program and sponsor notes. First off, tomorrow we're going to be taking a little break. No show tomorrow. We'll be back Thursday from Wicked Cheesesteaks. Wicked Cheesesteaks. Brian is excited to see us for our monthly visit, the beginning of June. No better way to kick off the whole championship month by having maybe a Defo or a Mike Mayo sandwich, and we'll see.
He's got all the goods for like a watch party.
Though.
I mean,
this is Thursday.
This Thursday, June 1st. We are on for Wicked Cheesesteaks.
Nice.
And I mean, he's got the wings and the pizza and all those great sandwiches and desserts.
Balls were ridiculous too.
Really good.
He's got lobster rolls too, and all kinds of quesadillas. I mean, it's everything. One-stop shop for any. That cucumber got me.
You can cater an entire party there at Wicked Cheesesteaks and never run out of variety in terms of what you can offer your guests. Are you all right now?
Yeah, I'm good. So,
is your mom there? Because you might need Heimlich, I think.
Yeah, I got the Rosemary
slobbering down all this food on here.
Yeah, home health aide, nursing assistant. She's
okay.
She can do the Heimlich if need be.
Yeah.
No, and again, so Wicked Cheesesteak, we love going out there. We'll be at Gulfstream on Friday for our usual visit with Joe Beja and the great people at 10 Palms. Pizza Spot, if you're going to be wanting a pizza from the Pizza Spot, this is not the week. They're on their quarterly break, so they will be closed all this week, reopening Tuesday. June 6th is the next time you could get Wade and Reese's delicious New Haven style pizza. And one last thing, I do want to welcome to the show. We're going to be starting off a new sponsor, officially June 1st, but hey, it's close enough. And just want to welcome to the show Lenore, Beth, and Richie Gilbert, Gilbert's 17th Street Grill.
Nice.
I know yesterday was, or not, I'm sorry, Sunday was for some reason officially National Burger Day, even though I always think of it should be on like one of the major holidays when everybody's grilling burgers, like yesterday or July 4th. But you know what? Every day is Burger Day at Gilbert's 17th Street Grill. They do a fantastic job. We did a remote show there last year, I believe, with Burger Beast with Seth Come On Out, and they do all kinds of different varieties of burgers, but they also do other things, like they have great chicken wings, they have great salads. They do this kind of seared ahi tuna salad for people maybe like me who are trying to be a little bit healthier. I'm not going to say the 4-letter word, but
please, it's become a 4-letter word on the show.
But Lenore is a great
should
person.
be taboo.
I mean, ridiculous.
Yeah, and they have
put it on the George Carlin list of words.
She does. She does all these baked goods, cheesecakes, and the cookies, and they did those shakes last year. It was they do such a great job, and it's one of those fast casual places, so not stuffy or formal. You could just run in there, make your order, pay at the register, no worries about any kind of added tips. But the people who are working the tables and cleaning up, you could always throw them a few bucks. But Gilbert's 17th Street Grill is in that Cordova shopping plaza, just south of 17th Street in Fort Lauderdale and Cordova Road. And they're opened every day but Sunday, and just a great place. When people recommend, when people ask for my recommendations of the best burgers in South Florida, Gilbert's always makes my top 10 list, and it always usually makes Burger Beast Seth's list of tops in Broward too. So welcome aboard, Lenore, Beth, Richie, great people, Gambling Gourmet and Lunchbox approved. Go in there. Get yourself some lunch or dinner one of these days, and we'll be in there to do a remote show, hopefully next week. So.
It's good, man. We really scored last week. I'm thinking back some of the meals we had. You were somewhat excluded from the good stuff, but the fish and chips we had at Even Keel, amazing. That was absolutely delightful. Then we go to Delaware Chicken Farm and Seafood Market. And those ribs, I ate the last of them yesterday as part of my Memorial Day celebration. Specialist. And, we come back to Gulfstream Park, and Joe Beja, is laying out lobster rolls. And Lubie had like a chicken parmesan. And I was saying as I was leaving with that lobster roll in a box there, and I was cashing a ticket on my way out, fortunately, just getting half my money back, which I was happy about. And, I was thinking, wow, who would figure the food at the track? I was talking to one of the parimutuel clerks I've known there for years, would include like a lobster roll and a chicken parmesan. It used to be, lucky if you could get a hot dog and some onion rings, and they've really stepped it up. So we were 3 for 3 last week, and it only figures, to continue this week at Wicked Cheesesteaks.
Yeah, and props to Joe B, because he's putting together every Triple Crown race. They've putting together these little theme party special events up in that third floor
got
space.
the New York
thing. New York thing's going to be
so Taste of New York. Start spreading the news. I'll be there eating probably everything in sight. So Taste of New York, June 10th up there at Gulfstream. Yeah, he's going to have different stations with the foods of New York that the people of Let's Eat South Florida go so crazy for, like featuring your favorites, like real New York Chinese food. And authentic Italian food with pasta, and then a hot dog cart with some push cart hot dogs and maybe some pastrami sandwiches or corned beef sandwiches, some of the great Jewish delicatessen traditions there. That's going to be at Gulfstream Park. Go to gulfstreampark.com to get your tickets today.
You remember the first time you hit like the Italian festival in New York?
San Gennaro.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
I had a Zeppola for the first time. I didn't even know what it was. And I will never forget. It was better than my first orgasm. It was just,
is that like a blimp that you ride that explodes?
No,
when
Zeppelin. It's like a fried.
Oh, that's a Zeppelin. Okay, Zeppelin. Yeah. Okay, I got it.
I didn't realize that the Skeeto dialect was also exacerbating your confusion issue.
Dementia, my natural.
No, I remember my first bite of a Zepp. It was like I died and went to heaven. It was incredible.
It's fried dough.
I loved it though.
I don't think
it still stands out like 60 years later after.
That first bite of it's like the first bite every time that I've had a Krispy Kreme donut, even though you might not think much of it these days. But back when I was first introduced to it as a traveling sports writer I believe the first time I had it was in Louisville, Kentucky, which might have been its birthplace. I'm not even sure, but that glazed hot now.
Coming right out of the oven. Yeah, that was great.
It just melts in your mouth. And then next thing you know, you've had a full dozen.
They did. They really did melt in your mouth. The Zeps were the same thing.
Got to get on the Ozempic. Yeah. So Joanne is maintaining she never said anything about Ozempic before. My apologies. Somebody else last week was chiding me not to get on it yet. So
no, don't do it ever. Don't do it. You don't need medication, Mike Mayo.
I'm getting a lot of different advice. Getting a lot of judgment out there too. I should do this. I shouldn't do that. Look, let me be me. And
well, if you didn't talk about it so much, nobody would care, and then you could just lose the weight, and then show up one day, and somebody looks and goes, "Hey, Mike, you look great, man. You must have lost a lot of weight." And that's always a good feeling, right? It's a lot better than what happened to you. Geez, it looks like you're putting on a few.
No, I had 2 comments yesterday. One on my walk of life.
That was good.
Yesterday morning. From a Let's Eat, participant, Craig, and he's a good eater, and we share recommendations. But he just said, "Mike, you look thinner. It looks like you're trimming down."
Well, the filters on your cell phone camera have helped a lot.
No, this was on the
Who
actual
showed you how
person.
to use that, Michelle or your daughter?
We were walking past each other in real life. This was real life. This was not.
Were you wearing sweatpants up to your chest? What were you doing?
Stop this discussion right now. How did this? We're at 53 past the hour.
Yeah. You better get another word for somebody.
Well, we got to get another word in, and I wanted to. But before we do, have you ever heard of Forge Pizza? I mean, I've heard a lot of different pizza styles, and everything seems to be coming to Delray Beach. They have their Frank Pepe Pizza's opening officially later this week, which is the New Haven style up pizza, and we were there at the plantation.
Nothing has topped the pizza spot for me.
But have you ever heard Lubie or Defo Forge Pizza, like Valley Forge
what is
Pizza?
That?
Where's it from?
I had never heard of it, but a place that just opened in Delray called the Twisted Tomato specializes in what's called Forge Pizza. I saw what it looked like. They look like kind of like flatbreads, kind of long ovals, almost like, I don't know if you call it, it's not like a pan pizza, but I was talking to Sarah Sarpolis, one of our Best of Delray Beach peeps. She's the marketing director. She grew up in upstate New York, near where you went to school. I think she grew up somewhere near Syracuse. Right. And she said up there in upstate New York, Forge ovens were like a thing at some of these bakeries, and they would do Forge oven pizzas, and people would carry them home and put them in the freezer, and they would, I don't know, keep for a while. But like people would make treks from Pennsylvania. I don't know, but I've never heard of this before. But now I'm intrigued by it.
Yeah. The only pizza we had there was at the Varsity, which was a dump. You couldn't get a fly to go in there if there was an open container of beef. And then all of a sudden they changed the pizza and beer, and they knocked it out of the park ever since. Became some of the richest people from the Syracuse area. But and their pizza was decent, right? Because it was, semi-authentic New York.
And it's college stoners, and you can't go wrong when
we were smoking a lot of weed back then, and it was like $10 for a giant bag. It was phenomenal. I mean, that was the time to be alive, the 60s and 70s.
I'm just intrigued by, I'm a food guy, right? And I'm a pizza
never heard of it?
expert.
Yeah. I've never heard of it.
I never heard of Forge Pizza. So this is something that's on my radar and might have to be another cheat day soon. Again, it's part of my job. So, you know what? I'll shut up about
Please,
keto
yeah.
forever,
I mean, if this is the
face
last discussion ever about keto until you drop whatever number of pounds you intend to lose, it would be, I think, very, much easing in terms of the pain that the audience is having.
I would like to go back to last week because, like Defo said, I guess I did get a lot of ribs because I still have ribs and wings left, and I'm not gonna lie, they taste just as good now as when Gene dropped them.
Really good, yeah.
Delaware chicken.
Yeah, and that was again with our protein specialist friend from Performance Food Group, Chris DeFelice, and that was a lot of fun. And thank you for the perfect segue into extolling the virtues of everything at Delaware Chicken Farm and Seafood Market. Really good. Great place for the summertime because this is the time of year where
the living
really
is easy.
Mowing. Yes. And again, some of the lighter and maybe healthier fare you could find there in their whole seafood and fish display. I was just, again, looking at all their beautiful selection of fresh fish. They had grouper in from the Gulf Coast. It looked spectacular, beautiful fillets, big, thick. And then they had the whole fish, like the whole snappers that they sell, and they'll scale it and fillet it for you right there. Anything you want at Delaware Chicken Farm and Seafood Market, not to mention the steaks and the sausage and the famous poultry that put them on the map.
And the ribs. Wow.
The chicken and the turkey and the ribs. Again, it's a veritable smorgasbord at Delaware, and Doug Carter and his crew, they'll take great care of you. Again, old school place, been around since the 1950s. They're at 4191 North State Road 7 in Hollywood, just south of Sterling Road, across from the old classic Seminole Bingo Parlor Casino. I love Delaware because you can go in there and get anything you want, any style you want, meat, poultry, fish, seafood, and they'll take great care of you. Tell them the Lunchbox.
It's worth the schlep from anywhere, too, for the quality and the prices. I mean, and the selection. Fantastic.
I talked about the service, and I know we got to go to our last break, but being inside, I got to see not only are they fast, but I saw people consulting the staff on what do I do? How do I cook this? And I thought to mock them because I've been at other delis and they're like, I don't know. Yeah. They were like, well, this is what you want to do. And I'm like, this is what you want to do. Like
they're all
coaching them. I'm like, wow, that's really friggin' cool. Like they were helping them decide how they should prepare the meat and what sides they should do. And this may be better, this may be worse. Like I was like, wow, that was
no. They are a full service place. They are well trained. Everybody who's behind the counter there knows everything about every component. And if you want to say, oh, what's the best way to prepare this fish? Should I just saute it or throw it on the grill? Yep. They'll give you all the tips of the trade. And again, if you want to see their weekly specials and daily offerings, go to DelawareChicken.com, DelawareChicken.com for the full info on Delaware Chicken Farm and Seafood.
All right, coming back, we'll say goodbye in just a moment. Quick, fast-moving edition of Mike Mayo's Lunchbox concludes in a moment.
Championship rounds, baby. Looking for a great place for steaks, seafood, and more? Go to Tropical Acres Steakhouse and Butcher Shop. It's at 2500 Griffin Road in Dania, just west of I-95 in the airport. They've been there a long time, since 1949. That means they're doing something right. You'll get old school hospitality from the Studiali family, along with great value, for tremendous service. Of course, you could also go into the bar for happy hour every day, 4 to 6. The early bird special runs from 4:30 to 5:30, and they have great value all night long. Also, a butcher shop that's open every day from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. except Sunday. The dining room is open every day at 4:30 except Sunday. Go to Tropical Acres. Tell them the Lunchbox sent you. Hey, it's Mike Mayo. When the Brooklyn boy in me wants a good bagel with Nova or some matzo ball soup, homemade knishes, or a great deli pastrami sandwich on rye, you know where I go? Grandpa's Cafe in Dania Beach. It's been around a long time, an institution, but a little over a year ago, a pair of New Yorkers came in, bought it, and refurbished the place. It's beautiful, and they are now serving great breakfast, brunch, lunch. They've got the omelets. They've got eggs Benedict. They've got all kinds of great baked goods like rugelach. Grandpa's is just off Federal Highway on Southwest 1st Street in Dania Beach. It's open 7 days. Go in there, tell them that the Lunchbox sent you. When I'm looking for some wicked good food for a wicked good lunch, there's only one place to go. That's Wicked Cheesesteaks in Fort Lauderdale. It's at 4824 North Federal Highway, just south of Commercial Boulevard and across from Holy Cross Hospital. My friend Brian there, he will hook you up with some really tasty treats. They've got cheesesteaks just like the best you can find in Philly, along with lobster rolls, because that's where he's from, Maine originally, and they have wings and pizza and everything you want to have a really good time. Wicked Cheesesteaks, they're open every day but Tuesday. Go in there on a Wednesday. They got buy one, get one on cheesesteaks from 5 to 8 p.m. Check them out online, wickedcheesesteaks.com. Tell them the Lunchbox sent you. Oh, we're back on the Lunchbox, and it's a glorious Tuesday after a 3-day holiday weekend. Did you do any interesting eating over the weekend?
Let me see. Not really. You know what? I had a lot of leftovers from the previous week, and I have to say they were great. And you'll find this disgusting. I mean, it's right up there with your penchant for Skyline chili. But I do make a sauceless chili that I had put together about a week ago. A lot of the stuff I had in my fridge, because I had so much of it, was about to experience a statute of limitations type time limit. And I did have to chuck something from last Tuesday. How long would you keep seafood in the fridge? Seafood from leftovers.
Seafood I try to eat within 3 days.
Okay.
3 days.
This was only a week old from that Eat Tapas place I went to last Tuesday. But nothing overwhelmingly exciting. I mean, naturally, I was at the casino there on Saturday, so it was Little Myron's Deli. And what do you got there, Ron? What are you doing now?
That is a picture of the Forge pizza
Okay.
that Sarah sent me from. I guess her family has a bakery, or that
Nice.
they go to up in upstate New York near Syracuse.
Rochester. What is that?
That's
Like White Hots?
That's yes. Well, again, so
Looks
this is, I
good.
guess it's
I
like
mean,
little
looks
square
interesting. Yeah.
But
pizzas.
square, right? Is that what it is?
Forge, but
It's thin,
in a forged oven. Forge
Very
oven.
nice.
I don't even know what a forge oven is.
Looks like a
Maybe
good
George
selection there.
Washington
it's
and his
nice.
troops
Yeah.
there. So that's the
All
Forge
right, we'll have
pizza.
to check it out.
Again, learn something new. And yeah, if it again, when in doubt, throw it out, Defo.
Yeah,
Again,
but
seafood,
the
fishy.
ribs were great still, left over from Delaware
Oh,
Chicken
yeah,
Farm.
yeah,
I
yeah.
had some wings left.
Pork ribs like that,
They were
definitely a full
fantastic,
week on
yeah.
that. But again, at your age now, they do have those warning disclaimers that the consumption of raw or undercooked seafood.
My age, the
could be
consumption of anything
hazardous
would
to
kill you. What are you talking about? I'm thinking about inducing
Yes.
it myself
I
after
would,
some of the things I've experienced.
I would
Yeah.
stay away from both the Ozempic and the cocaine.
No, I don't
obviously.
recommend going on a medication to lose weight. That's probably not a
No,
good
I
thing,
don't
yeah.
either. But talk to Dickstein about it. He's swearing by it. Now.
Yeah,
He's
but I
lost
mean,
like
there has
30
to be,
pounds.
some kind of, consideration that is not necessarily positive. Otherwise, why wouldn't doctors just say, here,
You know me. No shortcuts, no cheating. I'm doing it the
willpower.
old-fashioned
Everybody's right
way,
on this
which
chat
is
line here. All of the girls that love you are telling you, hey, listen, a little
everything in
moderation,
moderation.
willpower, and
Exercise.
exercise is a key.
Portion
You have to
control.
burn calories, Mike Mayo. That's the name of the game.
Yes.
Burn some
Calories in versus calories
Yeah.
burned. It's very simple. It's just simple science and math.
It's amazing you
which-
could actually get in shape just by walking, which is weird.
Yeah, and I don't know if I'm quite in shape yet, but I'm gonna.
You're
keep
gonna get
I'm
it done.
gonna-
I believe you.
What are the odds on me by the end of the month eating tubs of Jackson's ice cream along with Anthony's Runway 84 pasta? every
Much
night?
higher
Is
than
anybody making book?
these two teams making it to the finals. That's for sure. On March 1st, if you want to go back to your bet,
Much
which I would have
lower.
gladly
Yeah,
booked all of your action on that.
Odds
yes.
on.
All right. That's good.
That's going to do
Yeah.
it for today. Enjoy the rest of the day. Remember, no show tomorrow, people. We'll be back Thursday from Wicked
You mean we can't
Cheesesteaks.
ride you like you were the 2-ball at Beulah Park through another hour tomorrow? Because
you can
you're setting
bet
yourself
the
up for this,
2-ball at Beulah or Parks or wherever they're racing tomorrow.
French Open has been
but
sensational if you want to get back to sports. Big upsets all
I've
over the
not
place.
seen
Yeah.
any of that
Great,
yet.
great stuff already.
Well, it's wide open now that you don't have the king of the French Open. No longer
Well, I mean,
there
he
playing,
might not have been
Nadal,
that prominent here anyway, because there are other guys that are sort of passing
because
him
he's
by.
getting old.
Yeah.
Is that what you're
Well,
saying?
he's up there for an athlete, and plus, he's played hard. It's like the Dwayne Wade syndrome, man. This guy held nothing back his entire career.
No, he was flailing and flopping
Nadal, great,
all over
brilliant
the
player,
place.
no doubt,
Great,
and a real
great
gentleman.
player. All right. Well, that opens the door for somebody else, and yeah, that's it. Well, enjoy the tennis, enjoy the horses, enjoy anything that everybody has on their agendas, and I'll enjoy my cucumbers with the
Yeah,
fish
you go
dip,
back
so.
to eating, man. That'd be great, and we'll see you Thursday.
See you every Thursday. Have a good one. Remember to enjoy every sandwich,